a good evening. I'll see you tomorrow at 2, including the Wonder Years. Sarah's next. It's Radio 2 on the BBC Sounds app, on your smart speaker, and on 88 to 91 FM.
BBC News at 4 o'clock. This is Nikki Cardwell. A review has found that agencies failed to protect a 5-year-old boy who was murdered because they'd not been sharing information. Logan Mwangi was killed by his mother, stepfather and a teenager at his home near Bridgend in South Wales in July last year. The report said he was taken to hospital 11 months before he died, but concerns about his injuries were never passed on. Claire Marchant, who's from Bridgend County Borough Council, admitted that mistakes were made.
The fact that we were unable to protect Logan will always remain a source of great sadness. The review has identified that there were opportunities to share information and better analyse and act on the risks to Logan. Mr Mwangi, Logan's dad, was not told his son was on the Child Protection Register. As a council, we apologise unreservedly.
Downing Street has insisted that Rishi Sunak is committed to bringing down immigration levels after record figures were published this morning. 500,000 more people entered Britain than left in the year to June. That's up from 173,000 the year before. Our home and legal correspondent Dominic Kashiani says the news will influence the wider debate on migration.
A lot of the political focus and the optics has been around the cross-channel migrants. They're a tiny, tiny proportion of these figures, because what we're talking about here is global movements of people to travel, to work, to study. And that raises real questions for the government in terms of what is its policy towards the economy and actually bringing in workers.
Ambulance service bosses have warned that patients are dying or suffering harm every day because of crippling delays outside hospitals in England. During the past week, nearly 3 in 10 ambulances were stuck in queues for at least half an hour. NHS England says it's working hard to clear the backlog. The head of the RMT union, Mick Lynch, says he's had a positive meeting with the new Transport Secretary Mark Harper. Mr Lynch said that rail services planned around Christmas would still go ahead. Waterloo is once again Britain's busiest railway station with more than 40 million passengers a year. The figures come from the Office of Rail and Road, which has also identified the least popular stop on the network. More details from Sandra Berg.
Waterloo usually ranks as the country's busiest railway station, though last year COVID intervened. Now it's back at the top, but according to data covering the 12 months to March this year, with less than half the passengers of pre-pandemic days, an estimated 41 million instead of 87. The least visited station was Elton and Alston in rural Nottinghamshire, with just 40 recorded entrances and exits. There are only 2 trains a day, one in each direction.
And a 26-year-old cat from London has been recognised as the world's oldest by the Guinness Book of World Records. Flossie lives with an owner who's the same age. Sport now, here's Shojo Saka.
Good afternoon. At the World Cup today, Switzerland beat Cameroon 1-0 with Breel Embolo scoring against the country of his birth. Uruguay and South Korea drew 0-0. Portugal have just kicked off against Ghana, and later it will be Brazil versus Serbia. Meanwhile, the England manager Gareth Southgate says captain Harry Kane, who's been nursing an ankle injury, is available to face the USA in their second group match tomorrow. In rugby union, Northampton's Tommy Freeman will take Jack Knowles' place on the wing for England when they play South Africa at Twickenham on Saturday. He's one of 4 changes for England. And a government minister from Kenya has urged World Athletics not to ban his country from the sport for doping violations. Kenya, which has been a powerhouse in athletics for the last 3 decades, is reportedly at risk of a sanction following a string of doping cases, with 55 of its athletes serving suspensions. That's the BBC News and Sport. It's 4 minutes past 4.
Shojo, Nikki.
Ladies and gentlemen, introducing to you Sarah Cox, BBC Radio 2.
Thank you very much to Mr. Scott Mills as he sachets away until tomorrow from 2 for Wonder Years. Great. Cracking show today, wasn't it? Very good, he's very good. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and everyone in between, welcome along to your 50 Shades of Way Thursday Tea Time Extravaganza. And you know I love a Thursday. It's the best day of the week. I wake up tickled pink, if I'm lucky, and never feel blue the whole day long, ready to paint the town red at the weekend. Other stations are green with envy at our world-class tunes, features, and of course the best listeners in the world. Say yellow on 88.291 and I'll arrange a shout-out. As it's a Thursday, there's Fast Track plus First and Last a half hour. We're a rainbow ruffle to the Sarahs, and next we find out who's totally voted. Plus Catnip and Clifton separate. I'm excited. Foz is excited.
Waka waka.
As a music.